tiny here. Look at how big that is. And on the flip side, you look and you say, wow, I am part of something really big. And you just get a sense of belonging and a bigger perspective on what life is like. Yeah. So the spiritual aspect can be part of why it's helpful for people. They may not define it as that.
Right.
But, and lastly, is that nature is natural. And we, as humans, have been part of the natural world for quite a long time. And in fact, it's only recently that we've become confined to our cars and our buildings and our computers so extensively. People used to live on farms, they used to work the fields, they used to cut trees for their heating, and we didn't have cars, they would ride horses. So this switch from being connected to everything that's out there to being really self-focused is fairly recent. So there's probably some innate normal piece of connection to nature that we know we have. It's just we've sort of forgotten.
Yeah, it's so easy to forget that we are really a part of nature.
Well, yes, and we get so busy that we're just so focused on where we're going and what we're doing that we don't, I mean, we do it with even our interactions with people, that we hardly say hello to people when we see them sometimes, or we're rushing past them. I can't talk now, I'm on my way to a meeting. What's really more important? But, we've forgotten a lot of that. So, yes, there's also some research in the natural aspect of things that some people have proposed. This is very difficult to document, but some people have proposed that the increase in the amount of depression and ADHD that we've seen recently actually comes from our disconnect with nature. That our body doesn't consider that normal.
Right.
And then it causes problems such as those things. Obviously, that's something that's very difficult to prove, but it has been suggested by some of the researchers.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. So, obviously, we get so much from nature, so many benefits. What do you think our role is in all this?
Right. It's not a one-way street, is it? We definitely do. We are always taking advantage of the plants and the animals out there. The fact that we have clean air to breathe because there are trees that are actually converting what we exhale back into oxygen so we can breathe. Fresh water, the plants, the animals. We wouldn't have food if there weren't plants. We wouldn't have animals for those of us who eat animals, So if we realize this connection, it can really motivate us to be more responsible and be more caring and careful about what we do to the natural world. When we realize how important it is to have crisp, clean, flowing water, and if there's something that we can do about it, or clean air, we'll be more likely to actually take some action and do something to keep that happening. And there are small steps that each one of us can always take.
Yeah. Can you talk about that a little bit? Maybe, how we can care for nature.
Well, there are some small steps that we all can take. But one of the things I'd like to have us think about in order to really motivate us is that we really are all connected. And for example, this piece of paper. What did it take to make this piece of paper and get it here? I mean,
trees.
Well, absolutely, trees. And so with the trees comes the sun and the water and the ground, yeah.
Right, yeah, the soil.
Yeah.
And then you need workers that come and cut down the trees and process.
Exactly, right. And each of those workers has a family. And those families, the children are in school and they need teachers. And the workers may be married and their partners need jobs. Then they go into a factory, and the factory has all kinds of machinery which is made somewhere in a building, and they turn this lumber into pulp and all kinds of stuff.
Right.
Then they have to truck it somewhere. And who makes the trucks? Where does the fuel come from? Where do the tires come from? If you think about it very deeply, it's almost impossible to think of what is not connected to this piece of paper. It really takes everything and everyone in this world to have brought this particular piece of paper to me right here.
Right.
My car that brought us here, all the different connections. So I think that that's a very important thing for people to feel and to realize, which will motivate them to take small steps.
Yeah, and that is really good motivation to keep people focused on nature and taking care of her.
Yes. I can give you some examples of some small steps.
Yes.
Do we have time?
We have about 5 minutes. So
we have
please.
5 minutes. Is that all? Yes? Okay. Well, then maybe what I would also want to do is talk to you about how we can learn more about ecotherapy.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So I think I'll do that. I recently published an article that very much covers what we covered here in this. This is called The Inner Tapestry, and it's a free magazine you can get around. And I have an article in here. So if anyone is interested in reading more, they can find out about it in here.
Wonderful.
There are books. Most of them are fairly scientific, but there is a book called Ecotherapy. And this one's somewhat accessible as far as just a person interested in reading about it.
And who's the author?
This is edited. It's many people have written chapters in here, and Linda Bazell and Craig Chalquist are the two people who have edited this.
Okay, in case people are looking for it.
Yes. And I've done a class with Middletown Park and Rec, and I will be doing another class in the fall at Middlesex Community College in their continuing education non-credit program. And that's going to start in September, so anyone who is interested in participating in that can take a look at the catalog. And I have a website that people can write to me or look at some of this information. If they're actually interested in some of the research about depression or anything like that, some of those links are up there, in addition to links to other people who are working in the field. And my website is healingnatureCT.com, so people can find information there.
Great. Well, thank you for those resources.
Yes, yes.
And thank you as well for being here today.
Okay. I appreciate being here and the opportunity, Michelle, and it was nice talking to you.
Nice talking with you, too. And we'd like to thank you for watching this special presentation of the ABCs of Education. Please email any comments or suggestions to theabced@yahoo.com. And I hope you enjoyed this special presentation, and thank you for watching. Good night.